Welcome back to Narrations, where we retell classic films so vividly that it feels like you're watching them unfold before your very eyes. Today, we enter the chilling world of prophecy, deception, and unspeakable evil. It's a story about the Antichrist disguised as an innocent child, shaking the foundation of family, faith, and fate. This is Richard Donner's The Omen, released in 1976. Our story begins in Rome, where American diplomat Robert Thorne rushes to a hospital. His wife, Catherine, has just given birth. But tragedy strikes. The child is stillborn. The priest at the hospital offers Robert a shocking solution: another newborn, whose mother has just died, could be adopted secretly in place of their child. Without telling Catherine, Robert agrees, believing he is sparing her heartbreak. He names the boy Damien. The Thornes raise Damien in wealth and comfort, Robert serving as a high-ranking U.S. ambassador to Great Britain. To Catherine, Damien is the perfect child, polite, quiet, and seemingly angelic. But as Damien turns 5, strange things begin to happen around him. At his birthday party, surrounded by children and a lively crowd, Damien's nanny suddenly steps onto the mansion balcony. In front of everyone, she shouts, "It's all for you, Damien!" and leaps to her death with a noose around her neck. The horrifying scene freezes the celebration. Damien, oddly calm, looks on. Soon after, a mysterious new governess arrives. Her name is Mrs. Baylock, and she claims she was sent by the agency. Stern, watchful, and unsettling, she immediately grows close to Damien, treating him with a devotion that borders on the unnatural. The horrors escalate. Damien reacts violently whenever they approach a church, screaming uncontrollably. At a safari park, animals panic at his presence, giraffes bolt in terror, and baboons swarm the family's car, shrieking and pounding the glass as if trying to attack him. Catherine grows increasingly uneasy, sensing something unnatural about her son, while Robert brushes off her fears. Then comes a disturbing encounter. A priest named Father Brennan approaches Robert repeatedly, warning him in cryptic messages: Damien is not human. He is the son of Satan, born of a jackal, destined to bring about the end of days. Brennan begs Robert to accept the truth and take steps to stop Damien before it's too late. Robert dismisses him as a lunatic. But when lightning strikes, Brennan dies gruesomely, impaled by a falling lightning rod in a freak accident. Meanwhile, Catherine's fears intensify. Damien knocks her over with his tricycle, sending her crashing into a railing. She survives but is left injured and pregnant again. Doctors warn her to rest. But when she tells Robert she wants an abortion because she fears Damien will harm the baby, he refuses. Not long after, Mrs. Baylock engineers Catherine's death. In a chilling moment, Catherine is pushed from a hospital window, plummeting to her death. Shaken, Robert finally begins to accept that something is terribly wrong. He teams up with Keith Jennings, a photographer who has noticed strange patterns in his photos. In the images, people destined to die appear with ominous shadows, Father Brennan with a line through him, the nanny with a noose. These eerie clues convince Keith to investigate further. The two men travel to Italy, retracing Damien's origins. They discover the truth: the raw baby born to Catherine died, and Damien was born of a jackal. The priest's words were no lie. Damien is the Antichrist, sent to corrupt the world from within the family of a powerful man. With horror settling in, Robert learns the only way to stop Damien is to kill him, with 7 sacred daggers, an act that would pierce the child's body in a specific ritual. Keith insists it's the only way. But when the photographer retrieves the daggers, fate strikes again. A truck accident sends a pane of glass slicing through him in one of the film's most shocking deaths. Robert, now alone and desperate, decides he must end Damien's reign of terror. He drives back to his home, daggers in hand, and attempts to abduct the boy. Mrs. Baylock attacks, proving herself Damien's protector to the very end. Robert fights her off, barely escaping with Damien. In the dead of night, he races to a church, dragging Damien inside. The boy thrashes and screams, suddenly revealing fear for the first time. Robert raises the dagger, ready to strike. But before he can complete the ritual, the police storm in and shoot Robert dead. The film ends chillingly at Robert's funeral. World leaders gather, mourning the ambassador's tragic death. Catherine is buried beside him. Damien stands hand in hand with the President of the United States. He turns toward the camera, a small smile curling across his lips, the smile of a child who knows exactly who he is. The Omen is not just a story of horror, it's a meditation on fate, power, and the terrifying idea that evil doesn't come roaring with fire and brimstone, it comes disguised as a child, innocent on the outside, but carrying the shadow of the apocalypse. Its final shot lingers as one of the most haunting in cinema history. That was The Omen. If you haven't seen it, this classic is a must-watch for lovers of supernatural thrillers and chilling endings. And if you enjoyed this narration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Narrations. Recommend it to friends who love a good scare, and stay tuned, more haunting retellings are on the way as we build up to Halloween.